Hi folks, welcome back to Bridging Borders. Well, today's video is a nasty lesson that involves a motorhome, a furnace, and a rat. You've got to stay with me on this one. It was a wet and chilly October on Vancouver Island, and we had just returned to our motorhome storage facility in Sydney after a successful 3-month search for our lost cat, Squeaky. So we were on a high, we had our cat back, and now it was time to prepare our motorhome for the annual trip down to Mexico. So as part of all this, I was working on Monty. It was kind of chilly, so I turned on the furnace, and there was nothing, which was odd because it had been working up to just a couple of days before this when we were searching for Squeaky. I checked the fuse box, and sure enough, a fuse had blown. So I replaced the fuse, turned it back on, and it worked, but I heard a sound, and then it kind of freewheeled, and I thought, nah, something's wrong. So I quickly turned it off, and this is how the rest of the story goes. So I knew that something was wrong. Fuses just don't blow for a reason. Well, they do blow for a reason. They don't blow for no reason. That's what I'm trying to say. Once I pulled the couch away, you could see I had really good access to the furnace. It had a cowling over the top of it, and I've pulled that away just to show you what I had access to. And I've pulled the wires out. I've unbunched them so that I could examine them more closely to make sure that they're okay. And this is the wheel area. Try to set this up where I initially spun the wheel. You can't really see it through here, but there is a fan blade in there, and it's quite strong, and that's what distributes the air throughout the RV. So that's what I looked at initially, and it didn't feel quite right, and then I turned it on, and it spun quite wildly, and then I heard a whoosh sound that I explained earlier, and I thought it had cleared. When I came back to look at things a little bit more carefully, I thought, you know what, that's really a pretty cursory inspection. It's not really what most people would do. They'd look a little deeper. So I opened up these vents, these ports, one here, and there's two on the other side. And when I opened those ports, that's when I found Harry, feet first. Poor little guy. Not a very nice death. So that was our problem. This guy was inside our furnace. I suspect that poor little guy tried to run that wheel for several kilometers before collapsing. So one lesson from all of this. What if I hadn't gone into the furnace to really look at it? What if I hadn't opened up the ports to examine the inner chamber? You'd be roasting a dead rat for a long time, and the diseases that you can get. I do know this: the diseases you can get from mouse droppings or rat droppings and nesting material, so on, can be really serious. So what can you do? Well, in my case, I think it's a perfect time to turn the torch over to a fellow Canadian named Ray. Ray has a YouTube channel called Love Your RV. I've put an image of his home screen here. Uh, at times in life, I think we need to surround ourselves with people smarter than us. And Ray does an excellent job of explaining how to extract a furnace that's in a fairly tight spot, how to maintain it, how to repair it. It's an excellent video. And he has a second video amongst his many where he explains finding a dead mouse inside his furnace, just as we did. The only place where I get an upper hand over Ray is our rat was bigger than his mouse. So folks, that's about it. But before I close, please remember to also check your floor vents at the same time that you check your furnace. Or separately, it doesn't really matter. In our case, we just unscrew the covering over the floor opening. I put a cell phone inside and I take a snapshot. It's a great way of finding out if you have nesting material or a dead rodent in your ductwork. If you're a physician and you have access to endoscopy equipment, a colonoscope would be great, be even better. I hope your life remains rodent-free, and thanks for helping us put Harry to rest. Bye for now.